Yo, I guess I can skip the usual disclaimer, but anyways, the following program is recorded live and is not intended for children. This program should be considered entirely fictional and should not be used for political or academic purposes. Facts are not checked and no sources or citations will be provided. Should you choose to redistribute this broadcast in part or in whole, please do so at your own risk and only in good faith. Thank you again for joining. Listener and viewer discretion is advised. Oh my goodness, I look disheveled. Welcome back to Rainbows and Razor Blades, a show from the Void. By the Gregorian calendar, it is currently the 24th day in the 7th month, the month of July in the Age of the Cyborg, 2024. On today's episode, we're going to be jumping right into part 2 of Magic the Gathering's Bloomburrow set that is, I don't think, released yet. It'll be released soon, but we're going to be reading through the blue cards. Thanks for joining. We'll be right back after this. If you want to sponsor me, we got a Patreon that'll be linked at the end and in the description, and then also you can send me money directly to my Venmo. And actually, if you do that, it means you also get to dox me, because what you can do is you can file a dispute with them, and then they'll let you do that. So yeah, we started yesterday. We actually missed the first couple of artwork, so I'm actually going to scroll back up, because I was reviewing before I uploaded, and I realized that so we're on magicspoilers.com is the source, and a lot of these, I spent a lot of time just talking. I spent like the first 5 minutes, and I didn't even get to showcase any of the cards. So, if you want to go back and review those in my last episode, I think it was 8 minutes in where I finally got my shit together with it. But yeah, this one was one of my favorites. The Dawn's Truce was, I think, one of my favorites. The Bats, there's some cool cards. So yeah, go check it out. But anyways, for this one, obviously, you can already see it. There's no technical glitch issues that we're having this time. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, yeah, they got rogues. We did this last episode. I love the Bellow Crier. I like that there's an alignment of critters. Like there's weasels, birds, mice, and rabbits, I think is what it was. And now there's frogs so far. So, Calamitous Tide. I'm pretty sure that's a reprint. Return up to 2 creature cards to their owner's hands, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. I think that's a reprint, but it says Zoraline turned her attention to the shore. Helga and Rawl's conversation quickly faded from her mind as she watched the gigantic wave approach. Well, I don't know who any of those characters are, but oh, cool, it's like an otter. Oh, it is an otter. It's literally an otter. Daring Wave Rider. 4 and 2, so it's overcosted, so it's probably not going to be very good. When it enters, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Look what I found. It's okay. I mean, for the price you're paying for it, you better be getting something like that. Printed at uncommon, it's fine. I like its theme a lot. I like its artwork a lot. Good card. Not really much else to say about it other than, it's if it is a bomb, good, but, it's the kind of thing that, in a limited construction in a blue deck that, it doesn't have flash, so you can't use it as, a counter spell, I guess, which would be broken if you could, to be honest. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. If you control a bird, counter that spell unless its controller pays 4. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of good, I guess. It's just a general interruption for blue. It's what it does. Then it says maintaining brilliant plumage isn't just a statement, it's a tactic. It's kind of funny. I like the artwork too. Dire Downdraft. 3 and 1 blue. This spell costs 1 less to cast if it targets an attacking or tapped creature. So, okay. And then target creature's owner puts it on top or bottom of their library. This card is it's blue does get removal, but removal is in quotations. It's only semi-removal. So for interfering with board state at instant speed, it's not terrible. I don't know if it would be my first pick in a draft or anything like that, but I'm not a good drafter. And I definitely wouldn't run it in a constructed deck. Dour Port Mage. He looks kind of cool. He's a rare card. So 2 dropping rare card for a 1/3, so he's a little bit defensive. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, draw a card. Okay, that's actually really good. So you can run this in a flicker deck or a comes into play. So you can hybridize this very well with white or blue. And then it says return another creature card from your return another creature that you control to its owner's hand. That's pretty good for a rare card. The thing is it's like the trigger is really interesting because it's when it leaves the battlefield, but it's not amazing because it's without dying, so you can't just like token sack or like gain off of like a wrath. Like if someone wraths your tokens, if you're playing like white tokens. Um, I think this card's pretty good. Like I would definitely run at least one of these in a deck. I think it's very interesting to build around. I'm not sure whether or not that at 1/3 it's like it's well costed. It's a good card. I like that card. I like Dour Port Mage a lot. Eddie Merc Crab. It's an uncommon. Ooh, it's an elemental and it's a huge creature. So it's 7-drop. It's got flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each instant or sorcery in your graveyard. Okay. So it enters tapped if it isn't your turn. And when it enters, tap up to 2 target creatures. I mean, it's doing what magic cards do. It's, the flash is really interesting, as is the spell reduction. So, like, late game, when you would hope to draw this. The thing is, and the reason this is, like, bad and you wouldn't want it, is because, like, mostly what this card does is gets drawn on turn 3. Like, you draw a card. But in a deck that also is utilizing Scry, has counter spells, maybe is hybridizing and is affecting board state with another color, maybe green or blue, or green or white. This is it's not the worst card. There's just nothing else really to say about it. Eluge the Shoreless Sea. It's a legendary creature, elemental fish. Okay, its cost is pretty interesting. 3 of blue, 1 of anything, so it's a 4-drop. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of islands you control. Okay. It's kind of interesting. When it enters or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. It's an island in addition to its other types for as long as it has a flood counter. Okay. And then, okay, here's the real ability. Let's see what this does. The first instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn costs 1. Wow. Oh, less to cast for each land you control with a flood counter on it. This strikes me as something that you could run in an EDH deck, maybe. The thing is it's so niche. I see why that it is printed at Mythic, because it's so niche. And its triple blue cost means basically that you're either running a very expensive land base, or you're building around either this card or some other type of like proliferate tokens or proliferate counters. Like, messing around with counters has always struck me as weird when they're on lands. It works mechanically. Like, the rules obviously allow it. They printed the card. But it's a little bit convoluted, and like I overall am not thrilled with this card. I think it's cool as a design, but I don't think it's that great. Finch Formation. Okay, so we do have birds in blue. I mean, I would hope that we do. Okay, and it's interesting because we also see the Offspring ability again. And then it says flying. When this creature enters, target creature you control gains flying until the end of turn. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this card does what it says it does. Nothing else to say about it. Gossip Talent. I like the artwork. It looks like it could fit on a white card too, though. Whenever a creature you control enters, surveil 1. I don't actually know what surveil does. Is that like scry or something like that? I actually don't know what surveil does. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. And this is like an enchantment. Like, yeah, this is an enchantment. It sits on the board. And then it's whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may exile it. Then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that. Like, it triggers so far the theme of comes into play, or like as it's now been renamed enters. So like I don't know. Into the Floodmaw. Gift a tapped fish. I love that. I really love that. Gift a tapped fish. Oh, is this going to be a counter spell? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, it's a bounce spell. Return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. If the gift was promised, instead, return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Honestly, giving them a tapped 1/1 blue fish is not that bad a trade-off to instant speed removal using blue. This is a good card. I'm not really sure that it's going to be... I don't really know the current meta, but at least when I stopped playing, that would have been a viable card to play in a constructed deck. Kitnap? That's so cute. The artwork is intense too. Oh, it's a rare card. Okay, so gift a card and they draw a card. Um, so it enters, tap an enchantment creature. If the gift wasn't promised, put 3 stun counters on it. Huh? What's a stun counter? I don't know what stun counters do. My guess of what stun counters do is that maybe they get removed at like the end of the turn, and then when they're gone, they're no longer stunned, and stunned means they can't block or do anything. That's my guess. I mean, that's like what I would make stun if it was an ability. You control enchanted creature. So let's look it up. I've never heard of this. Stun counters were introduced in Dominaria United. Never heard of that either. Stun counters prevent tapped permanents from untapping. Oh, okay. Okay. So they can attack or block. They're just tapped, which means that they, you know, a single stun count. It says stun counters can be put on a permanent that are already tapped. A single stun counter will be removed if the permanent tries to untap for any reason, including its controller's untap step. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's pretty cool, I guess. All right. Let's see. Kitsa Otterball Elite. Oh, it's a legendary. A wizard for another 2-drop. That's interesting. So we've got very low cost cards in this one so far. Vigilance and Prowess. What's Prowess? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. I'm not really sure why that's a keyword. I'm not. I don't know. Maybe it had been printed in a set previously, but I don't really think that that's a keyword. Um, a non-creature spell. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Draw a card, then discard a card for tap, but it's vigilant, so it can also attack, even though it's a 1/3. But that's actually not bad because it also means it can defend with 3 in blue, and then you can pay 2 to copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose a new target for it. Activate only if its power is 3 or greater. You know, this is just one of those cards that has so much going on that it's kind of hard to tell where it would fit. And at 2, it's like, here's the thing: like, am I running this or am I running Spell Stutter Sprite? Like, am I running this or Spellcaster Mage or whatever? It's like Spellcaster Mage, whatever the mage was. You know what I'm talking about? The one with the blue arm. Flash comes into play. You can like do shit from your graveyard. Was broken. Night Fisher, flying, bird knight. Flying. Whenever another non-token bird you control enters, create a 1/1 blue fish creature token. That's cute. I like that. His keen eyes can see the glint of scales far below the river surface. I gotta say, so far, and without talking too much shit, I'm much less impressed with blue as I was with white. I thought white thematically was really cute. So far, blue seems to be a bit of a convoluted mess, which, to be fair, it is blue. And there is a card literally called Convolute in blue. So, like, you know, it's kind of part of it, but I'm not really liking this too much. Not hating on it, just not as much. Rat Otter for 4 for a 3/4. Okay, that's actually not bad in blue in a limited format. Plus, it gets Surveil. Let's see. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard. Whoa, so it's better than Scry in a way because it's kind of more it's like self mill, and some of these cards do mention play from graveyard, like similar to Flashback. So that's actually kind of good. Surveil 2. Yeah, I think for 4 this is appropriately costed, especially because you're getting a 3/4 for 4. Like in blue, you need that because especially like I mean you've looked at all these other cards, like there's no other power. And if you pay 1 more, obviously you can get like huge creatures, but like there's a big difference in blue especially between 5 and 4. And that actually that difference disproportionately affects blue in a way that it wouldn't otherwise affect black or green because black can do life loss in order to accelerate its ramp. Red, just you don't need to worry about red. It has the power already. That's what red is. Same with green. Green implicitly gets ramp, and white is more stabilized, kind of in the middle. And while it doesn't ramp, it balances out its power and defense. So like blue needs a 3/4. Sorry to go like on that little rant, but like it really is true. Long River Lurker. Look at this thing. It's got a knife in its mouth. That's ridiculous. Ward for 1. So I think what ward is that if it would become the target of spell or ability, you can pay 1. I think that's what that is. Other frogs you control have ward 1. So it's different than Shroud and it's different than Hexproof. Or I guess maybe it's Hexproof until the end of turn type of thing, but it's only for that single thing. So it's like ward. That's my guess. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. When Long River Lurker enters, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. That's pretty good, especially because we saw rogues. The thing is, we haven't seen too many cards that really benefit that much from doing damage to another player. We've seen, like, I think 2 of them so far, which is not an oversaturated amount. So we'll see if more of them pop up. But so far, this is on theme at least. And it's got the rogue knife in its mouth, even though it's a scout, not a rogue. Whenever that creature deals combat damage this turn, you may exile it. If you do, return it back to the battlefield under its owner's control. So yeah, so we see this is like the perfect card for the set because it's got the flicker effect and it's got the rogue can't be blocked effect benefit. And it has the hexproof of a frog. So it's all 3 of those things for a 3-drop for a 2/3. This is the type of card that, like, you may not really want to run it as like a 4 of in a modern format, but as a draft pick, this is a pretty good card, I think. But again, I'm terrible at drafting, just absolutely dreadful at it. But I think it's good. I would pick it. Maybe I'd lose, but my hover zoom's not working. I don't know why hover zoom's not working on this one. Anyway, gift a card. Counter target creature spell. If the gift was promised, instead counter target spell. That's pretty good for for 2. It's not amazing. Like, I've seen, I would prefer 1 and 1 blue to make them pay an additional 4 type of counter spell, but for 2 blue to get a hard counter, that's not terrible. Anyway, Mind Spiral, but it also gives them a card anyways. Mind Spiral. Look at this cool artwork. Gift the tapped fish is back. This is a 5-dropping sorcery. So target player draws 3 cards. Okay. If the gift was promised, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. For 5, it's pretty good. It's just so functionally boring, but it needs it. That's the thing. It needs to be in the format. And just giving it the tapped fish meme is kind of funny. So there's not really much else to say about that as a sorcery. Wind Whisker. And this is a 3-drop for a 3/2. Wow, interesting. And it's a rat wizard, and it's blue. Blue is getting some power ramp from what I'm seeing. Like, I'm seeing a 4/5, a 3/4, a 2/3, a 3/2. Like, in blue, like, that's, like, kind of like blue is known sometimes for being creature heavy in sets, and this is definitely a creature heavy set so far from what I'm seeing. Let's see. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. That's pretty good. And then what's threshold? As long as there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, creatures your opponents control get -1, -0. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's interesting. Mind Whisker. It's got a great name, great theme, great art. It's a good card, printed appropriately at uncommon. Otterball Antics. I like the font too. The, like, subtle little, like, O has this, like, weird little thing. I kind of like that. Otterball Antics. 2, it's a sorcery. Create a 1/1 blue and red. Interesting. Blue and red. Otter creature token with prowess. If this spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Flashback. What the fuck? Now we're getting flashback? Like I said, though, this set does seem to be doing some weird things with the graveyard. So this is the first card that just seems like it's not thematically on point, but mechanically it's super sound because you're paying 4 for you're paying 1, 2 plus 4, 5. So it's like, and it's the next turn. I don't know. You get 2/2/2 creatures. It's just bad. I can't make this card good no matter how I look at it. Maybe I'm missing something. It's just not good. It's interesting, but it's not good. Night Whirl Hermit. Really cool artwork. And it's a rat rogue. So it's a 1/4, which is pretty good for 3. Oh, and it has vigilance. This is actually pretty darn good because it's not quite a defender, but and then it gets +1 attack, and it can't be blocked if there are 7 cards in your graveyard. This is a really good card. Like, this is like, again, maybe not first draft pick, but like definitely if I was constructing a deck, I would run this. Mockingbird, X, and then 1 blue. That's really weird as a cost for a creature. And then it says flying. You may have Mockingbird enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield with mana value less than or equal to the amount of mana spent to cast Mockingbird, except it's a bird, in addition to its other types, and it has flying. That's super good. It's just super, super good. Because you're either paying 1 for a 1/1 flyer, which, like, okay, or you're. I mean, it's just good. I mean, it's just really cool and it's really good. I would run one, maybe 2 of these in like an actual standard deck. I would play that in like actual tournament. I love random shit like that though. Like, I play bad cards on purpose. I think that's a good card though. It's not like, game defining, but anyway, Pearl of Wisdom. 2 and 1 blue. This spell costs 1 less to cast if you control an otter. Draw 2 cards. I guess, I don't know. It's like, I guess if you're building an otter deck, sure. Otter folks, otter folk divers compete to bring up the biggest, purest pearls they can find. Storing elemental magic in them is a bonus. That's a cute flavor text. Plume Creed Escort. Interesting name. I like the Plume Creed. Bird Scout. And it's a 2/1 flash flyer. When it enters, target creature you control gains hexproof until the end of turn. That's very good. It's kind of more like a spell, like an instant, but you're sacrificing a lot of the power and getting the more standard 2/1 that you get at 2-drop for blue. Okay. I mean, the flash is pretty good. The flying's pretty good. Portent of Calamity. So we had seen last time the word calamity, so the word has now returned. So X and 1 blue again. Sorcery this time. Reveal the top X cards of your library. So pay 1 for each one. That's all right. Let's see what it does. For each card type, you may exile a card of that type from among them. Put the rest into your graveyard. You may cast a spell from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost if you exiled 4 or more cards this way. Then put the rest of the exiled cards into your hand. Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, so far this is trash, but that last part, then put the rest of the exiled cards into your hand, makes it a pretty efficient draw spell. It's sorcery speed, though. I don't want to be paying X plus 1 at sorcery speed. That is what blue does. But, at least historically, there have been instances where you can pay a little bit more, but do it at flash speed to draw more cards. I think it's pretty good. This, without knowing more about this card, or really having a wider view of the set yet, this card may be busted. But I don't think so, because it's sorcery speed, so I don't see how it can be that broken. But, like, the thing is that there's just many types of cards, but you'd have to build your deck around it, like a creature, saga, artifact, fucking planeswalker, like enchantment. Like, that's like if you're paying 6, right, on turn whatever, to get 5 cards revealed, like, basically, like, that's like that card is like an end game. I don't know. Like, if you're paying it at sorcery speed, it just isn't amazing. Anyway, run away together. That is adorable. This is like the cutest card. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. That's so funny. This is like an EDH card for sure. Nobody bothered to look for Libo and Pulla because everyone knew they didn't want to be found. That's adorable. I like how it's like a frog. Is that a frog? It is. It's a frog and an otter. That's so ridiculous. Season of Weaving. Okay, so here's another paw print one, another mythic one. So 4, 5, 6. So this is a cycle. We're getting like a whole saga thing. So 4 and 2 blue. Let's see what it does. 4 and 2 blue. I love how I'm just like this like dumb little head in the corner. I'm like, choose 5 worth of modes. So you can either draw 5 for 6, which isn't terrible. It's not terrible. Choose an artifact or a creature you control. Create a token that's a copy of it. It's interesting that you can clone your artifacts. So you can go like hard in the paint with this in an EDH game. And then return each non-land non-token permanent to its owner's hand. Okay, there's the one that you want to do. That's actually pretty good. Again, I don't know how the resolution works if you go 3 and 2 on this. Like if you go return each non-land non-token permanent to its owner's hand, but then does the creation of the token come into play that's a copy? Like mechanically, I actually don't know how to work that out because I'm kind of a noob. This seems good. I just don't know if I would really want to run this. It's got a lot of utility, but like if I'm paying 6, I just want something better. But like the 5 cards that you can get, like that's like it does make it viable, I guess. Because if you couldn't card draw for that, and it couldn't like if you couldn't card draw, that card wouldn't be viable. Shore Up. This is a reprint, I think. Target creature you control gains +1/+1 and hexproof until the end of turn. Untap it. Is that all you've got to put some muscle into it? Yeah, this is a very standard spell. Shoreline Looter. Oh, look, it's a rat rogue again. Looks more like a mouse to me, but whatever. Shoreline Looter can't be blocked. I like that the rats are like rogues in this. Threshold. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card unless 7 or more cards are in the graveyard. The fact that it can't be blocked means that even early in the game, this has the potential to really kind of run away and give like a lot of card advantage, and later in the game still be useful. And as we've seen, this mechanical set does favor the if it was not blocked, then do effect. So, I mean, like, yeah, you know, for an uncommon, for a 2-drop, for a 1/1, that can't be blocked. That's not horrible. And especially because, like, you can tell it's, like, for, like a deck that's, like, very, like, you have to theme it around that. It's, like, very themey. Sky Skipper Duo. It's a frog and a bird. A bird frog. That's so cute. A 4/5 drop for a 3/3. And then it says flying. When Sky Skipper Duo enters, exile up to 1 other target creature you control. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. But without flash, it's not that great. And it is a May effect. Like, it's like... Because this is up to. Up to 1 other target creature. Which means that you could do 0. I don't know how to swim, said the bird. That's okay. I don't know how to fly, laughed the frog. Okay. I mean, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just not good. Like, it's doing the things that this set needs it to do at a cost that you don't want to pay for a slot that you don't want to pick. That's my assessment. But thematically, sublime. Anyway, Spell Gyre. So it costs 4. Choose 1. Counter target spell or surveil 2 and draw 2 cards. Not terrible at instant speed, but also it's a 4-drop. Do I really want to be paying 4 ever when I could be paying 3? Like, maybe. I don't know. We haven't seen too many counter spells, though. So, like, honestly, fair enough, you know? Splash Lasher. I like the artwork. A frog wizard. Offspring 1, so you get the copy of it for 4. For a 3/3. When this creature enters, tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. So you could pay 4, 5, 6 to tap 2 of their creatures and have 4 power on the board. Not horrible, but like also like it's an uncommon. I don't know. It's an uncommon card. Splash Portal 1 and that's it. I like the artwork and I just like this card a lot. Exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. That creature is a bird, frog, otter, or rat. Oh, if that card is a creature that is draw card. Yeah, I mean, it's sorcery speed. Do I really want to be doing flicker effects at sorcery? I'd rather pay 1 more and do it at instant speed. But I think that's the kind of the point, actually, is why it's at sorcery speed. Storm Chaser's Talent. When Storm Chaser Talent enters, create a 1/1 blue and red otter creature token with prowess. Sorry, hold on, my alarm's going off to wake me up, but I've been up for hours. I barely slept. I was gonna sleep in today because I went to bed at 7 a.m. Oh my god. Anyways, when Storm Chaser Talent enters, create a 1/1 blue and red otter creature token with prowess. I forget what prowess does, to be honest. I'm not sure I ever knew what prowess does. When this class becomes level 2, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Not bad, but you're also paying 4 to do that. The turn after you've paid 1 to create a token. So, like, okay, not terrible. But the thing is it's the only thing that you can do with that 4 mana. And I guess you don't have to do it at any point. But the thing is that otherwise it's just kind of you've paid 1 for a 1/1. So, like, okay. So let's see what the next one does. So then you can pay 6, which, like, I don't want to do that. Especially if I'm hybridizing with red. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 blue and red creature token with prowess. Okay. Well, let's look at what prowess does. Because I've never heard of this. I'm pretty sure it gave it a counter, right? Like 1/1 counter. It says that it was specific introduced for clan mechanic for Jeske Way and Cans of Tarker. Fate Reforged. I've never heard of any of those sets. I never played during those sets. I don't know what year they even came out. I haven't played this game in like close to a decade. Anyway, Prowess was designed by some dude, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, but what the fuck does it do? Okay, a keyword ability that causes a creature to get a +1/+1 whenever its controller casts a non-creature spell. But it's not a token. Is it until end of turn? It's not even. It's just until end of turn. Whenever its controller casts a non-creature spell. Prowess is a triggered ability. Prowess means whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. So it has prowess. But it's not spell casting when you level it up. This card's just like, it's just slow and it's just bad. Unless I'm missing something and it's really amazing. Sugarcoat. Flash. Enchant creature or food. Food? I've only seen food mentioned once. Like a food. Was it an artifact? Enchanted permanent is a colorless food artifact. Yeah, okay, well that answers that. With 2, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. Yeah, we saw that yesterday on one of the first cards we looked at on the white set. Sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life, loses all other card types and abilities. So it's kind of like Pognify. This is good for blue removal. It's kind of like Oblivion Ring, but like with a gift theme. I like this card. It says, some jokes have the punchline baked in. This card is hilarious. It's so ridiculous. What is it even? Is it a platypus? I don't understand the artwork, what I'm seeing. Oh, his eyes are covered. I see, okay. Threshold. Pay 2. Put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card, but only if you have milled 7 into your graveyard. And only once? I wouldn't run this card. Many rats have found their minds while lost in the mud-slicked gyre of a snail shell. Okay. I don't like that card. I don't dislike it. I just like Thunderclap Trainer. It's a wizard, and it's a rare card. So it's a 2-drop. Again, that's like the 3rd 2-dropping rare. But blue needs that though. Offspring, you can pay 4, so you can get 2 of them for. And then it says, when this creature enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's just not good. It's just not that powerful. But like you can choose to make it like, I guess it could be kind of powerful because it's card draw, like selective card draw. I don't know. Valley Floodcaller, Otter Wizard. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a really good card. I don't know. Flash. You may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash. That's really good. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, birds, frogs, otters, and rats you control get +1/+1 until the end of turn. Untap them. This card's good. This card's fucking great. This card is really fucking good. This is like the card that you build around. So basically, the whole set seems to be like, yeah, based around this. Because you're paying 3 at instant speed, and then everything else that you have then becomes instant speed, and all your dudes basically get prowess and untap. That's pretty good. Not bad. Waterspout Warden. Frog Soldier. I like its hammer. Whenever that it attacks, another creature... Oh, if another creature entered the battlefield under your control this turn... Wait, why the fuck is it phrased like that? What the hell? That's so weird. Some of them, it's like sometimes just say whenever it enters, but this one says whenever another creature card entered the battlefield under your control this turn, Waterspout Warden gains flying until the end of turn. I mean, it's not good, but like whatever. The escape route of many birdfolk thief has been less surefire than they'd thought. It's kind of funny because the frog can fly. Wishing Well, and it's an artifact for 4. Put a coin counter. Tap to put a coin counter on Wishing Well. When you do, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with mana value equal to the number of coin counters on Wishing Well from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. Sorry, let me read that again. Wow. Oh, okay. Here's why it's not broken. With mana value equal to the number of coin counters on Wishing Well from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. So it can't be equal or less than, which means that you can only do it once. So you can't just keep doing all your low-cost spells, right? So that's why. If that spell would be put into your graveyard exile, it said activate only as a sorcery. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is I don't want to say it's trash. It's actually pretty good. But the activate only as a sorcery is like, I was like, this card's pretty freaking good, but there's a drawback. But yeah, the sorcery speed thing, it's like, nah. It's still good because it's without paying the mana cost. So it is still good. And it also would probably trigger prowess. All right, so we'll give you the first 3 black cards since I scrolled too far. Agate Blade Assassin. It's a lizard assassin, which means we got lizards in this set. Whenever the assassin attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay. So some lizard folks wield the precious agate and yearn for fire. Others wield it and thirst for blood. Jesus, both of those things are terrifying. And it's a 1/3 for 2. Okay. Bandit's Talent. Okay, so for 2 dropping, you get a... When it enters, each opponent discards 2 cards unless they discard a non-land card. Okay. Then you pay 1 more. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, they lose 2 life. That's pretty good. And then you pay 4. And then it says at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent who has fewer cards in hand. This is good. This is the type of card that you want to play. This is like a draft pick card for me, at least. I would look at this and I'd be like, yeah, I'm playing this. Because you know what? It hits the battlefield and does basically nothing. But it's also just like hilarious. But then it starts to like, it just sits there. That's the thing. Like, for the price of just having this card on the battlefield and paying 1, it can really flip the game later on. Like 3 turns in, if that goes off 3 times, that swings it by, a 6 life total. No, more than that, because you gain the 2, they lose the 2, right? Oh no, you don't gain the 2. I see. Okay, they just lose it. It's not amazing, but it's good. It's a good card. Bonebind Orator. Exile Bonebind Orator from your graveyard. Return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That's super bizarre because it pays from the graveyard. It's a Warlock Bard Squirrel. Okay. A great actor can breathe new life into old material. It goes to your hand for 4. But it doesn't say that you can't do that at instant speed. I think it's pretty good. Anyways, guys, that's about it for today. I will be back, I guess, tomorrow or maybe later today with more of, it's called Bloomburrow. So far, I've really been enjoying reading this set. And, yeah, we'll be back again another time. Oh, yeah, look, my alarm's going off. Perfect. All right, bye, guys. Bye.